Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hara, joined by my co-host.
I'm your co-host, Caliban, and whoa, what's going on?
We'll get into that in just a moment.
What is happening?
I know. We're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. So before we get into it, do you want to have like some initial impressions?
Well, we've set up, I don't know, only once before have we done this, but we set up this thing where I'm supposed to kind of try to say what I think is going on every
Cal's
5 episodes or so.
Yes.
And I suppose, I mean, if you do it on the 10, you do it on the 5. So we're actually one late, but the things are already changing. Like, for me to predict something, things are already turning over on their own. You know what I mean? Like, we just got a new sort of quest or chapter that we've entered into here.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I don't know how I would have predicted that rainbow crystals would be inside of human yomas who are all being chased down and stuff's going on there. So, but anyway, not having been able to predict that, maybe we need to find a better spot for me. Maybe like the second we lose a great leader of the Dark Kingdom or whatever. Then we go, okay, well, there goes Epaulet Cape guy or whatever. What do you think's coming next?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's when we need to do it.
Oh, okay. So you're suggesting we don't do it as often as you were originally suggesting.
No, I still think every 5 episodes is a good idea. I just didn't know when we started it that in 2 episodes we were going to lose like the main bad guy, and not only lose him, but have him die like a hero's death, kind of.
Yeah.
And be a total flip-flop.
Yeah.
And then have a character who had basically been forgotten about for 10 episodes, Usagi's friend Naru, suddenly be thrust into like the spotlight as the co-lead of the show.
Yeah.
An effect that continues again this week.
Yes, it does.
So I feel unable to even comment. I feel unable to share my opinion about what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Because things are up in the air.
Yes,
it's
they
chaotic.
are. Yes, they're very chaotic. Well, maybe we should just go ahead and get into it then. Okay. Today we are talking about episode number 26, Naru-chan ni eiga wo, Usagi no yujo in Japanese, Restore Naru's Smile, Usagi's Friendship, the English translation, and the English title, The Power of Friendship. I see that's a no for me, dog. Head shake over
it's
there. It's
really the power of fundamentals and the sweet science, the sport of kings.
Yeah?
We'll get into that in
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit.
Yeah. Well, yes, I know what you're talking about now.
The show opens with a music box theme playing that same theme that we hear when somebody's having a dream about a woman yelling at them to find a crystal. It's Mamoru.
Yes.
He's dreaming, and he's seeing a Usagi-looking woman from a parapet telling him to find the silver crystal, and all will be revealed.
Yes.
And then, football practice. Mamoru wakes up. He asks himself, who is that princess? And will this mystery be solved when I find the crystal that she was talking about? And am I Tuxedo Mask?
I liked that Keanu voice you did there.
Oh, I don't know how we're going to figure this out. Meanwhile, in the DK, Beryl is like, okay, all right, we got one rainbow crystal. What's the plan going forward? Zoisite, give it to me. And at this point, this is weird. It's sort of like seeing Darth Vader get up and do team building exercises with the other admirals on the Death Star.
Yeah,
because she's just been the person that people approach respectfully, and they're like, here's what I gotta do, boss, and it's like, you do this and that, and now she's like, what do we got? We got crystals, we got red, blue, we got green, orange. What do we got? What are we looking for?
Yeah.
Zoe, do the thing. Boom. Yeah, come on. Like, now they're all like brainstorming and like working because they don't know what's going on, I guess, either.
it certainly seems
if the
that
Dark
way.
Ruler is resurrected, it's going to be against the odds, and they better never just sweep everything under the rug and be like, plan worked great, Your Honor. we never had a doubt.
Right.
But if this person does come back, like, they're going to be like, whew, how do we pull that off? Work, everybody, take 5. Well, Zoe's site shows us that the next rainbow crystal is in a man. That man is a real white-looking mustache dude. There's a way... I mean, Usagi has blonde hair. Everybody's ethnicity is anime in this show.
Absolutely.
But I feel like this guy is... There's a look that you get in some anime where they're just designed to be like, hello, I'm a white guy. Hello, I'm Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Kind of like, this is a specific thing, but remember Miki Makamura's dad in Devilman Crybaby?
Oh, gosh, I don't.
He had blue eyes and like a spiky haircut, and I think he had like a mustache or a goatee. Okay. And because she was
like half
mixed race.
Yeah.
And he was American, and I think he had originally come there as a missionary they were Christian because it's important to the show Devilman Crybaby.
Right.
But and so he was like a blue-eyed, hey, the big JC loves guitar music. Listen to this, he's like a real Jesus-y kind of dude.
Sure. Did they make his eyes bigger than everybody else's eyes? Because I've seen that before in anime too.
Situation. Yeah. It's anime. Everybody's eyes are big.
I know, but one of my favorites, like Marmalade Boy, there's a part where there's a lot of foreigners, Americans, and they make their eyes like twice as big as everybody else's eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that. That's what that feels like. Oh my God. I feel bad for every little footman statue out in front of a rich person's house now. Oh my goodness. That's what that feels like. Well, anyway, it's a good example I picked because this guy is a priest. Yes. As far as we can tell. He has a collar and the whole deal and a rosary. He's a Catholic priest. Mm-hmm. I think. Only Catholics have the things, right?
I have no idea.
Well, that's the walking around cassock or whatever for a Catholic priest.
Sure.
But there is ceremonial garments for other denominations and churches. But so next day at Juban Jr., Naru is not there. She's been gone for a week, and Usagi is really worried. She flashes back to Nephrite's demise a couple episodes ago, and Naru, she really wanted that chocolate parfait, I guess. Hit her hard. Yeah. After school, Usagi tells Umino that she's going to see Naru, and Umino is coming along. They're going to cheer her up. At Naru's house, she's pretty depressed, and Usagi is trying to be delicate, trying to sort of find the right thing to say to reach Naru's cracked heart. And Umino's like, let's have chocolate parfaits!
I know. He just says all the wrong things.
All right.
At all the wrong times.
Anyway. Yeah. And I still want to know, what does Naru think happened here? This isn't just... there was a monster or something, and it gets kind of fuzzy. Why is this bandage on my head? And I saw Sailor Moon! Yay! Like, she was in a relationship with this guy who she met when he, was tennis coaching her sister. He kidnapped her, or tried to, and he was dressed up like Tuxedo Mask. Then 3 plant ladies kidnapped her and strung her up in jazz bar. Yes. And then they murdered him with magical powers in front of her. Yes. And then he disappeared. Yes. Just disappeared and turned into Stardust. Yes. What does she think is going on?
I don't know if she knows. Like, I wonder if, like, after he disappeared, if, like, Sailor Moon and the other Sailor Scouts had, like, this really long heart-to-heart with her.
Like, it's sad, but go on Maury or something like that. You've got a story here.
Yeah, I know.
You know that, like, aliens or magic is real or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I guess I don't know what people know about... We only ever see Sailor V, like, kneeing guys in the chin or something like that. So I don't know if they know that superpowers... I don't know if superpowers and superheroes are real outside of just vigilantes and cheerleader outfits.
Yes.
But Yeah, I mean, like, her boyfriend turned into pixie dust and disappeared after they were attacked by literal monsters. Like, what is... It's going to take more than a chocolate parfait. What does she think is going on?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, she does say, all right, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, she wants to go out. So things maybe they're turning around. Meanwhile, at Hikara Shrine, Luna is filling the other girls in on the power of the silver crystal, which, if used properly, can destroy the world.
It's terrifying.
So it can resurrect it's the ultimate bliss, well, that's the energy of young children, as we all know. But it can resurrect the Dark Leader. We don't know if like they'll raise the Dark Ruler and the Dark Ruler will destroy the world, or if the crystal itself can destroy the world. Everything is really vague, and everybody's really bad at their jobs. But the world's already pretty banged up at this point, so it can't take too much more. Luna also fills everybody in on the rainbow crystal situation too. We again see this flashback from space, explaining how the reincarnated humans have become the Yoma. I'm not sure if it's a translation thing, but I don't know if the 7 pieces make up the crystal, or if they get the 7 and that will allow them to get a separate crystal, which is the silver crystal. That has not become clear.
Yeah,
because 7
it is not clear.
7 crystals that are different colors are suggestive of like a prism or a rainbow. They are called the rainbow crystals, and then their light would, additively make up white or silver light.
Right.
So
either you get all of them and then you get the crystal, or you get all of them and they show you where the crystal is.
Right.
It's unclear as to which one of those it is.
And there's a black crystal too. So
yes.
There's too many crystals.
Yes.
But the big point to take away here is that they're having this meeting without their leader.
Yes, exactly. After she has just been crowned leader.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a girl with a moonstick somewhere who's not at this meeting.
Yes.
And Mako is after experiencing one guy that she threw in a bush and then almost atomized, she's like, these bad guys, they ought to watch out for this girl right here who has 2 thumbs and is hung up on a senpai who used to spurn her. And Ray's like, I was going to say that.
Yes.
See, Ray agrees with me. Uh-oh. Every new sailor is just all the personality traits of the old ones plus an extra thing. It's wearing thin now. And Ami is thinking ahead. She's like, okay, well, look, I guess we got to find the humans, right? Because, either we can get the crystal from them, or the bad guys will be looking for them. We'll have to protect them anyway.
Right.
And Luna says, well, we find them with the moonstick. And everybody's like, uh-oh. Maybe Usagi shouldn't have the moonstick?
I know.
And Mako's like, well, why not? And Ray's like, well, she'll probably end up using it to smash things. And as they're talking, we cut to Usagi's house. And she's like, takes her piggy bank out.
I know, but let me ask you this.
I owe you.
Is that like what is actually happening, or are we seeing what Ray is imagining?
That's a good question, but this is the early 90s, right?
Yes.
They are prefiguring the cutaway comedy of your Family Guys, of your 30 Rocks,
true.
Of your whatevers. So
yes.
I'd have to just the environment that I've been stewing in, that happened.
Okay.
We just cut away to.
All right.
When have I ever cried? I just wanted some diet slice and some pita chips. 10 minutes earlier. That happened. Luna, though, is like, look, I believe in Usagi. She's got no sense of duty. She's unreliable. Let's get to the good parts.
Yes.
But that's why she's the leader. It'll give her confidence, which I don't know if I agree or understand your logic
Luna's
there.
logic,
but okay.
Yeah.
This will teach her responsibility, having to be responsible. And that makes sense.
Yes.
You treat people with the amount of respect that you require of them. That sounds like I'm trying to use people there. Give people a sense of worth, and they will return that by being worthful.
Worthy? I don't know.
Worthy. Nice job. She really goes to the bat for her, and I think that's great. And then finally, we get something of a redemption for how dumb that they make her. I get that it's a character, and having a happy-go-lucky main character who isn't exactly cursed with a vast intellect is a long-standing anime trope, but they push it so hard sometimes. But if I'm to read this right, it's all in the service of seeing her mature as a person and a leader,
Yes.
And it's got to pay off, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has to start down here if she's going to end up here.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
I hope that's what they're doing. Moonsticks crossed.
Yes.
The girls kind of vote informally. Ray says, no way. We're going to take it away from her. Ami's like, she's in, but then Ray pinches her really hard on the leg.
I know. She's such a bully.
Yeah. And then Mako says, well, I don't know any of you guys. So let's, what if we give her a call?
Yeah.
So they call her up on the Avengers card, ring, ring. Hey, Usagi, we're having a pretty important meeting. You want to come down here? She's like, oh, well, I'm going to Yokohama for ice cream. And everybody's like, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Despite all this,
Exactly.
I would say that this is a Dumb Bunny too.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to reveal that now as the episode goes on. In this episode, her actions seem dumb, but her friends don't have any context for her actions. I think you were telling me that, like, Yokohama isn't just down the road. Like, it's a big station and it's kind of a ways away. So if you're going there, you make a day of it. And so clearly she never, and we don't know, again, like I said, they already had, maybe they sent her a message before, hey, we're going to have a meeting, and this is the second message. But whatever,
we don't know, yeah.
The city is beset by evil monsters from another dimension. You should kind of be on call.
Yeah,
and this is just her going, whoop, I'm out of here. She's not. This is all in the service of her trying to bring her friend out of this funk.
Yes.
Because of something because their superhero lives intruded on her. This is another Spider-Man moment. Like, one of her friends or family's life is being ruined by the fact that she's Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, in spite of all that, Usagi is showing way more emotional intelligence than her friends who are ready to just vote her out because she just wanted some change out of her piggy bank.
Right.
It's going to Yokohama. Yeah, she's using the moonstick as a hammer. No, that's a vote against. But anyway, the point is, only a 2. Meanwhile, across town, Usagi, Naru, and Amino are sitting on a curb by a graveyard. Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it does.
In a show like this, Naru says, there's no grave for Nephrite-sama. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And she starts to cry, and Umino says, I want some Peking duck. I never had Peking duck. Oh, I'm so close to having Peking duck. This is a time in my life before I had Peking duck, and pretty soon I will be in the part after when I've had Peking duck. So what is he talking about?
Just having a conversation.
Usagi starts throttling him, and Naru runs off to meet a priest. She finds a priest.
Mm-hmm.
It is our priest.
Yes.
Unless they all look alike to me, these foreigners.
Yeah, right.
And she asks him what she should do. Someone important to her died, and he says, you were important to him. Your love saved his soul.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he knows all this.
I don't either.
And he says, love is all around you. It's behind you right now.
Yeah.
Which, again, is weird because, we know that Zoe Sight's got a little flair. She turns around, and there he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the priest just speaking generally? And Zoe Sight's like, whoop, better hurry up. That's a good one. His little legs are crossed, sitting down. He comes flying real fast. Nailed it.
I like the way you think. I don't know that maybe Zoe Sight just has that much impeccable timing. I don't know. Like, got to make this work. So you got my little flair.
Batman spends a lot of time like with his knees up by his ears, just waiting for somebody to be like, but we'll never get caught by the Batman. Let's make you legs asleep. Through the skylight.
Yes, I have. He does a lot of waiting.
We cut to Usagi and Umino. They're looking for Naru, and suddenly Usagi's bag starts glowing, and Luna arrives to tell her that it's the moonstick reacting to one of the rainbow crystals.
Yes.
So that's a new thing. We have our own black gem jewel now.
Yeah.
That the moon stick can detect rainbow crystals. Rainbow crystals, says Usagi, unable to turn it into some kind of food pun. And that's why you tell your leader about what the meetings and when they are.
Right?
So they're filled in. They use the stick to track down the signal. Back in the graveyard, Zoe Sight is going to use the crystal on the priest, and Naru tries to stop him. And Usagi arrives, and Luna tells her to wait for Mako to arrive. She's like, well, no. Wait for our Hulk to show up.
Yeah.
But Usagi is not going to wait, and she transforms into Sailor Moon. She confronts Zoe Sight, but he zoys, and he activates the priest. An orange crystal emerges from the priest. It's like Infinity War. The crystal shoots up, and the priest transforms into... he's got like chicken legs.
Yep.
And wings.
Yep.
And he's got boxing trunks, and a belt and gloves, and a head guard, and a mustache.
Yep.
And he says, "Me no preacher, me boxy." So I don't know. Here's my theory. I am going to get a theory out today. It seems like the Yoma are becoming dark reflections of the humans, or maybe the humans are attracted to aspects of the Yoma that are in them. So, example, Crane Master Joe likes games, so he became GameSen.
Yes.
But maybe because it's that Yoma is all about games or something,
right.
He then became attracted to Crane games.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And
I see what you're saying.
I'm going to stretch it here, but the father's a priest. I'm guessing a Catholic priest, perhaps Irish Catholic. So maybe we've got like an Irish Catholic boxer here. I think there's a Japanese national who has about as much understanding as I do and has maybe possibly seen the Daniel Day-Lewis movie The Boxer would be like, that all makes sense.
Right.
So that's all I could think of. Why this priest turns into a boxer monster.
Yes.
Anyway, he's like, the crowd is calling my name. I'm the champion. Wow. And he's got a bell. The bell on his belt rings. Ding, 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 ding. And Sailor Moon's like, I'm not a boxer. I'm not a boxer. And he says, I'm a champion, lovely punch. And his boxing glove flies off, which is really like, I tried to punch you, but my glove isn't tied enough. But anyway, it flies off and it crushes a gravestone.
Yes.
And he says, I am king of kings. And he shoots in one of his gloves at Naru. So he's shooting boxing gloves. Umino pushes Naru out of the way in one of those like, oh, he saved her. But he doesn't... I think he's okay. I think we find out he was a little hurt later. But
yes.
But he doesn't get like wasted by this guy.
No.
Then we get another lovely punch. And just as it seems that Sailor Moon is going down for the count, Tuxedo Mask swoops in.
Yes.
He carries her to safety. He says, gentlemen do not box ladies. They hold them gently. Some weird gender politics going on.
Yeah.
A little traditional, but whatever. Zoe Sight says, knock out the fancy man, too. And the two of them square off. And then we get, I am a champion triple punch! But TM spins his cane. He deflects the boxing gloves. Where are these gloves coming from?
Yeah, I know.
He regenerates gloves. That's his real power.
His body regenerates
he makes gloves. He's getting shorter as they fight. Sailor Moon sees a star-shaped amulet on the ground. Mm-hmm. If that seems like a non sequitur, it is.
Yeah.
And will continue to be for the entire episode.
Yeah, well.
Jupiter finally arrives, and Boxy immediately runs to hit her, but she hits him with Supreme Thunder, baby.
That's right.
Everybody gets to yell their moves. So we got Lovely Punch, we got Supreme Shukim Sunday.
Yes.
We got it all going on. She destroys Boxy's glove, and Sailor Moon gives him the Moon Healing Escalation.
Yes.
We get a refresh.
Yes.
Now the priest is back. He's fully decked out in his Sunday robes, but he's like, this didn't happen to Crane Master Joe.
No.
They like leveled up the priest.
I know, right?
He went
He's
from
like
just
sparkly.
like walking around like black, Matrix outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
To like full white Sunday robes.
Yes.
There's like a rainbow and clouds behind him and everything.
Yes.
It's like, what's going on?
And he sounds like he's giving a sermon or something
yes,
like that.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Crane Master Joe just like collapsed.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Tuxedo Mask grabs the crystal. The orange crystal.
Yes.
And he runs off. And Luna's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Get the crystal.
Yeah.
And Sailor Moon's just like, that Tuxedo Mask, golly. So he makes it away with the crystal. Later on in a building, Tuxedo Mask is holding this crystal. And as it glows, he turns into Mamoru Chiba.
Yes.
And he says, I finally understand. I'm Tuxedo Mask.
Yes.
The last one. The last one to get it.
Yes.
Back in the cemetery, Umino got hurt helping Naru, and she binds his wound with the bandage she used on Nephrite.
Yes.
Which she weirdly still has. And she says that she'll be back at school tomorrow. And Usagi opens this locket. It's shaped like a star. She opens it up in a music box version of Moonlight Densetsu, which she doesn't recognize.
Yeah, right.
Even though we know it exists in their universe.
Because they've sung it before.
Starts playing, yes. Yeah. And it has a glowing crescent moon inside. Mm-hmm. And Mako and Luna are looking on. And Luna says, yeah, sorry, I was hoping that she'd do something cool during the fight. But, so whatever. And Mako's like, isn't her devotion to her friends the friends we made along the way?
Wow.
Naru is like, hey, where'd you get that locket from? And Usagi's like, somewhere. What?
I think, okay, I've seen this before. So, I mean, Tuxedo Mask dropped it at some point.
I didn't see that.
I know, but I think we're supposed to infer that somehow. But I think it might have been, but there's something that's kind of reminiscent of something to Usagi. Like she seems like this seems familiar. But I think TM dropped it. So
okay, got me with that. All right, so that's the answer to that.
Yeah.
So already we're getting already we're getting a variation in what I was already complaining about last week, which was every time I challenge this show, it comes right back.
Okay.
Because I said, well, all right, now we've got a new development, but the formula is they'll meet 7 people.
Yeah.
There'll be 7 crystals.
Yes.
They'll get the silver crystal.
Mm-hmm.
But already there's a hitch in that giddy up because the second crystal they don't even get because Tuxedo Mask is like, whoop.
Yeah.
So, good job, show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Still surprising.
Keeps you on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact, or I guess I'm a little weirded out by the fact that the disrespect of Usagi is starting to become part of the meta narrative. Like they're all aware of how mean they are to her now, and they're like, does she deserve that we're this mean to her? They're literally like kind of putting her on trial, and she's not there. Yeah, which is the weird part.
It is weird. You know? She can't defend herself.
I am king of kings.
You had a lot of really great catchphrases.
I'm gonna miss them.
Yeah.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I think it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Jean Grey.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so sorry.
What? So for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements in Japanese culture, I thought we would twofold talk about boxing and Christianity in Japan. So, in 1854, after Matthew Perry made land in Shimoda, Shizuoka, soon after the Kanagawa Treaty, or the Convention of Kanagawa, that was the first time boxing was introduced in Japan.
What was the year?
It was 1854.
Okay.
It was prevalent at the time for American sailors to have fights on board their ships, where they would encase their fists in slim leather. Yes. So
this is wow.
Yeah.
Everything just okay. Never mind.
What?
Everything just comes out of that.
A lot of stuff comes out.
The Japanese are the wet cement culturally of the world.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
It all makes so much, and I hate to generalize, and I hate to put everybody in a pile, but I think, something like, I don't know, America loses, the Vietnam War, and we get, some pretty good movies out of it 7 to 8 years later.
Right.
But also it just sort of drives us a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Funkytown. Letting ABBA in the country. No, I don't know.
Wow.
But it leads to something. But like Japan, you just look back and you go, oh, a bunch of round-eyed sailors went, guess what? you're with us now.
Yeah, I know.
And we got a lot of things we want to show you. And then fast forward, almost 200 years, and Japanese schoolgirls dress in sailor costumes.
Yes.
It's so...
I know.
It's like a bad... It's like the world is... It's like God is a first-time DM. Do you know what I mean?
This would be really cool.
Well, it's just like, if you've played role-playing games with like a guy who's like... Or girl... or gender neutral, who knows what they're doing, and they create a world, and you realize that they create subtleties that isn't until later you go like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good idea.
That was a really nice touch, yeah.
And then somebody who's a first timer, basically just you look at their map and it's like, it looks like Lord of the Rings.
An adventure map.
Oh, so the bad guy lives in a evil land that has a mountain range that kind of goes. Actually, come to think of it, the Lord of the Rings map kind of looks like a first time DM too, doesn't it?
Yes, I would say so.
There's just a simplicity, but like you look at the real life Japanese and it's like,
I know.
We blew up their cities with atomic bombs. They're like, atomic energy created a giant lizard that destroys cities. It's like, you little guys.
I know.
Input in, input out.
I know.
Output out. Output in, input out. Whoa. Recursive loop. Tell me about the sailors boxing in Japan.
Well, So that happened, and so that boxing was introduced. And then it was 1896 when the first boxing gym called Mariken Training Institute was started in Ishikawa-cho, Yokohama, Kanagawa by Toranasuke Saito and James Hojo. Yes.
Did they have pancakes at this boxing school?
I don't think so.
Which name is it? Was it a white guy who took on like a Japanese name? I almost said Oriental, which would have been okay if I was him, if I was James. Or was it a Japanese guy who was like, call me James? That sounds like it's got a good ring to it.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay. So the father of Japanese boxing, or four-round king, was Yujiro Watanabe. And following being educated with boxing in San Francisco, he returned to Japan and started the Nippon Kento Club in Tokyo on December 25th, 1921.
Sure.
There are not a lot of fighters in Japan who qualify to be categorized as heavyweight. Japan has acknowledged ratings and titles for 13 distinct weight classes. But not a lot of people in the heavyweight section.
I mean, genetically, it just seems like...
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that.
No, I don't think so either.
Minute bowl. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason that, like, there are guys in the NBA who barely speak English.
Yes.
And came right over from Africa. It's because, like, the guy's 9 feet tall, and they're like, well, I mean, he's going to get some block shots.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like, sure, they're sumo wrestlers. They're literally some of the biggest people in the world.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, there's not going to see a lot of Japanese boxers in, like, cruiserweight and above.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you won't at all.
No. And I think partially because of this, there aren't a lot of Japanese boxers that are known in the U.S. because they just don't necessarily rank in the same weight classes. And getting a license can be quite... a thing to do. A boxer must complete 2 tests. The first is a written exam to display that they apprehend the regulations, and then they also need to fight in front of people.
Yeah.
To get that. All right, moving on to Christianity in Japan. At the end of 2017, there were about 1.9 Christians in Japan, which is about 1% of the overall population. 1549 marked the first time the orderly Christianity showed up in Japan via Portuguese Catholics.
Portuguese.
Yes. Francis Xavier...
Oh, the Dutch didn't bring Catholicism? No.
Well, I guess they weren't the first. No. So,
but they weren't. They were Protestant.
Yes. Francis Xavier, a Spanish missionary, came to Kagoshima...
That guy got around.
Yeah. He came to Kagoshima, Kyushu, Japan, with the idea of establishing a church in Japan, and he starts the first Christian missionary projects in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about him?
Are we going to leave all the? Is it just going to be good stuff that we talk about?
Well, I gotta say, I most of what I am reporting on in this is positive, but we'll get to maybe some more negative things in a little bit.
Okay, good.
So some daimyo or regional feudal lords in Kyushu became Christian and got baptized.
Well, we're already okay. All right, we're glossing over it here, and I think that your facts are interesting, but I think that we both have own personal context that we can bring to this. I, for instance,
yes,
was on that ship with Francis. And okay, so it's not the context isn't going to be that close, but I didn't get a chance to watch that Scorsese movie before I knew this subject was going to come up. So maybe sometime in the future.
Oh yeah, I actually came across that in my research.
Give a mini review about that, but yeah, I mean the gist of it is that like a lot of cultural influences. The Japanese were very hard on this because they were not interested in, part and parcel of the whole, get out of here. We're going to cut your head off if we see you
close our
here and you're not Dutch or Portuguese in this one port.
Yes.
And that had to do with they didn't want any ideas spreading about other religions and stuff too.
Yes.
But, and I'm not trying to be like, a college sophomore who took a comparative religion class here, but there's just something about Christianity, man. It's like the mimetic properties of it that I don't know, it just gets out there, it just makes people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And so despite the horrible things that were done to Christians, early in the early history of the movement.
Yeah,
you're right. Like there were daimyos who were converting to Christianity. And this is all at the time when Toyotomi is, he's their Julius Caesar, basically. Like he's uniting the entire country.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that Christianity loves, it's a united country, because then it can really start moving around.
Right.
I've also read that there were some political aspects to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
There were some daimyos who had who converted and had access to resources.
Yes.
So like gunpowder and explosives were becoming more popular.
Yes.
And a lot of the things that were needed to be mined to make those were in the lands of guys who were Christian. So there are other daimyos who were like, yeah, you like this Jesus piece? That's pretty good, huh? You like that? Yeah. Give me a little gunpowder, please. Give me that saltpeter. Give it to me.
Right.
So whether or not they were doing it for spiritual or religious reasons, it started to spread.
Yes.
Yeah. And then near the end of the 16th century, I think wisely, it's probably Tokugawa was in power at that point. I don't know who wrote the decree, but they were basically like, all right, fine, whatever. You can just don't make a big deal out of it, but you can, be Christian or whatever you want to.
Mm. Yeah. One of the daimyos who was Christian and was baptized was Omura Sumitada. And he was probably the most powerful one who was baptized. And, he had a lot of, like you were talking about, a lot of goods and stuff like that. And people kind of were looking at him and were like, hey, this guy's getting rich. Maybe we should take
prosperity
his stuff.
gospel. Let's do this.
Yeah.
thing.
So Omura asked the Portuguese military for assistance. They came, but they requested that he back his commitment to God. And he was told that he needed to get rid of traces of the other religions in Japan, so Buddhism and Shintoism, and also convert people as much as possible. So by 1574, Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples in his area were set on fire and destroyed throughout his lands.
Cool. It never goes wrong.
No, I know.
Religion, imperialism, put them together.
Right.
Delicious.
60,000 citizens were baptized by pressure, if need be.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if this is spite or just efficiency, but was anybody crucified in Japan before Christianity came there?
No, I don't
because when they
think so.
found those little Christians that were hiding, they're like, all right, knock, 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 knock. They crucified them.
I know they did.
It's like, whoa!
I know.
But you guys had the most efficient way to kill somebody, which was just sword that can cut through atoms. Boom, done, over.
Right.
And instead, it's like,
let's give them the death they would have wanted.
Yeah, that's you got a thing on his neck.
Oh my gosh, I know.
They love this stuff.
I know. So yeah, as you mentioned, Toyotomi Hideyoshi was not a fan of this, and largely because of the discriminatory conduct about Buddhism and Shintoism.
Plus, he's just imprisoned the emperor, basically, who's the religious leader, and he's trying to unite Japan under a military rule, but also have the figurehead of the emperor there, and so he doesn't want people looking to some foreign god or messiah. It's gonna mix the message. Right.
So as you were talking about, in 1597, Hideyoshi gave the most severe forbidding edict and crucified 26 Christians. 5 were European Franciscan missionaries, 1 Mexican Franciscan missionary, 3 Japanese Jesuits, and 17 Japanese lay people, 3 of which were boys. And they were killed to make an example of Japanese Christians. And basically they became martyrs after this.
Yeah. That's another thing about Christianity.
Yeah. Christians in Japan were then required to openly reject the religion. Quite a few continued to exercise their religion confidently and later became known as hidden Christians or kakure Christian.
Yeah. It's cool. You can see... It's been in an art book or something, and I saw it. But they had things like they'd have a statue of a Buddha or something like that, or an ancestor spirit or something. Yeah. And then if you like flip it around, it's got a cross in the back, and they were like, "Shh, kakure Christian."
Yeah, I mean that's something I saw in my research that they hid Christian iconography in like things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. There is a building, I can't remember where it was, but like they like put like a cross in like some bricks and stuff like that, and it's like, whoa, nobody's gonna figure that out. I know, right? So yeah. In 1633, the shogunate distributed the first multiple sakoku, which means closed country, edicts, putting Japan on its way to being a closed country. And then 1853, Commodore Perry, again, enters Japan with a convoy of ships promoting the reopening of Japan to the West. And
sailor suits for everybody.
Yes, exactly. I guess just interesting to note, Christmas, although not a national holiday, is celebrated in Japan. It's seen more as a non-religious holiday, commercialized holiday. You see Santa Claus, parties, Christmas lights, decorations, present swaps, eating Western food, especially Christmas cake, which is eaten on Christmas Eve and is, I think we've talked about before, it's usually like a sponge cake with whipped cream and strawberries. Right. And then also very popular Kentucky Fried Chicken, which, you know, they years ago, they advertised that that's what was had in America for Christmas Day. So that became a very popular thing to have on Christmas Day in Japan. And you usually spend the holiday with your significant other or friends, not usually extended family. Christmas Eve is seen as a couple's holiday, and romantic presents are exchanged.
I think I was reading too that when Christianity was in Japan in the late 16th century, that's around the time that they were, or one of the times that they were invading Korea. And so when they invaded Korea, some of the generals that went over there were like really big into this Christianity stuff.
Sure.
And so it sort of like kind of set up over there too.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Christianity is like that. It just kind of spreads. And I mean, I guess you can take positivity from that in some ways. Yeah. The denomination breakdown in Japan, for what I found currently, it's Protestants are about 60% of Christians in Japan, and Catholics make up the general remainder, although all denominations are present in Japan, so they just must be smaller percentages.
We talked about this before.
Did we?
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out if the Sakinos went to church or something like that.
Oh, okay. I don't remember if they did or not. I had a host family for a short time when I was in college, and my host mom took me to, I believe it was a Buddhist ceremony that she went to weekly. There are around 7,000 churches and 30,000 missionaries and other appointed religious leaders, about a tenth of which are foreign.
Right.
And there have been some things that have been said about Christianity in Japan. There's a guy, Ralph Calvary, who's an American pastor who works in Japan, said, quote, "There is still a strong social pressure from family and friends not to be different. Occasionally you still hear about Christians who have trouble with their family because of their faith, or Christians who lose their jobs."
Well, that's
End
a white
quote.
guy who's probably spent 8 years in
Yeah.
Japan trying to
I
describe what
know.
it is.
Yeah.
Seen quite a few Japanese people who dressed like Bleach characters at a train station, so I know that some
Well,
people like to do their own thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yuko, a Japanese Christian woman in her 40s, said, quote, "I developed a very positive view of Christians in Japan, both Catholic and Protestant, as people who were actively engaged in social welfare and social justice work in my country. I think Christians in Japan have made a lot of contributions to Japanese society. So many hospitals and schools and social welfare organizations from our organizations are built and run by Christian missionaries and Japanese Christians."
And we talked before about how not that America's all that great, but that doesn't exist necessarily in Japan, at least
Yes.
as much as it does in other countries, where it's
Yes.
just like, social safety net? I don't know. We don't have a word for that. If you're in trouble, good luck.
Well, and I think too, there isn't as much like this idea of like donating money to a cause, that sort of thing.
So not on Japanese Facebook, no, I'm donating some money for my birthday to leukemia.
I just don't think you see it as much. as you do in
$3
America.
out of 300 achieved.
Oh, no.
Anything else on Christianity?
That's all I got. Do you
Okay.
want to say anything else?
Oh, I mean, that's pretty complete.
Okay, great.
Do we get funeral customs?
I didn't get to funeral customs.
More people are going to die. We'll talk about that in the
Yeah,
future.
exactly. Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Well, in this episode, Umino is drinking something with a straw at Naru's house. We don't really get a good idea of what it is. Naru says, "Let's go eat something good." Usagi tells the other sailors, "Sorry, I can't come over right now. I'm going to Yokohama Chinatown with Naru to eat something delicious." And you already covered this. This is not a short trip. Yokohama is south of Tokyo and about 25 kilometers outside of Tokyo, 37.2 kilometers if you drive. The fastest way to get there from Tokyo is via train, which takes a little under 50 minutes. And the Chinatown in Yokohama is the largest in the country. The port city of Yokohama was one of the first of its kind to reopen to foreign trade in 1859. And there are about 250 Chinese-owned subject-mattered restaurants and stores in Chinatown.
Ethnic food?
Yes, sure. Chinese specific
but
food.
you just said that Yokohama is the biggest Chinese area or whatever.
Chinatown, yeah.
Chinatown. There's a lot of restaurants, and
Yes.
then she was talking about they're going to have ethnic food.
No, I think she did say ethnic food, and I think maybe what she was talking about is maybe Chinese food. I'm not sure. It's unclear. Umino suggests that they have Peking duck and gets excited to eat it because he has never had it before.
Ethnic food.
Yes. Usagi strangles him and says, quote, "You want to be a Peking duck that badly?" And Umino says, "No, I want to eat one."
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, it's good to be clear.
Yeah. My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon. What the heck are they wearing in this episode? And we see Mamoru's PJs, a black tank top, and I think purple shorts. I think he likes purple a lot. And then we get repeat outfits from both Naru and Usagi. Naru wearing the sleeveless yellow shirt, long orange skirt, and aqua hair bow, and Usagi wearing the pink button-up shirt and purple skirt. Or purple, it's a purple skirt. And then the priest is wearing black priest robes with a purple sash. And then after he's turned back into human, as you mentioned, he's wearing the fancy white priest robes. Villain Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The father priest human with a rainbow crystal inside him. We Don't know his actual name. So we get the second of the 7 legendary Yoma named Boxy, champion of the Dark Kingdom, ? Another Japanese pun on the word boxer, bakusa, and the Japanese word for priest, bakushi.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
That explains that kind of weak, dumb name, Boxy.
Yes.
It's like, what do we call this guy?
I know. Bakushi.
Oh, Boxy.
Yeah, exactly. On the Sailor Moon wiki, it was suggested that being a priest who turns into a boxer may be a reference to The Exorcist because Father Karras boxed for stress relief and exercise.
Sure. And then it just goes back into what I was saying before about just the stereotypical idea of Roman Catholicism.
Yes.
Irish Catholicism.
Right.
Boxing, boys' schools, parochial schools. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is makes it even stronger.
Sure.
So, yes, absolutely.
He was a Golden Gloves champion on the parochial circuit.
Right. He turns into a bird man with bird feet and orange wings.
Explain that.
Yeah, I know. Pointy ears.
That's not a pun or something?
Not that I know
Boxy
of.
also means like chicken or something?
I don't think so.
I can't figure that out either.
Yeah, pointy ears, boxing gloves, boxing shorts, and a boxing bell as his belt buckle.
He doesn't even fly.
No, he doesn't.
So that's not what are the wings
Why did
for?
they give him wings
Why
if
is
they
he a
didn't have him
chicken?
fly?
It's like the San Diego chicken or something.
Yeah. I mean, is he like too big to fly? Like, what are they trying to say? I just don't even. I'm just more confused.
No, he's not. That is too big to fly. That's
Okay.
Not...
And he
rate the baddie.
I'll get to it in just a moment.
Yeah.
And he says such wonderful things as "I am a champion" and "Lovely punch."
Right.
When he turned back into a human, he of course says refresh, just like Gensen. And he saying things like, "Do you believe in God? I believe. Love your neighbor." And he throws his boxing glove, and Umino saves Naru, and Tuxedo Mask saves Sailor Moon. So, Boxy, how many stars would you give him? I give him 3 out of 5 dark stars. How about you?
He's the king of kings. I go 5.
Okay.
You kidding me?
All right.
This is that thing where I don't have a point of comparison, but Project Runway. If somebody really goes for it and
Yes.
it's just too much, but somehow it all just holds together.
Yes.
And it's good on the model and the walk is good and Heidi and everybody's like, you know what? You win. I don't know why you win. There's a lot going on here, but somehow it all it's like a beautiful train wreck.
Yes.
That's Boxy.
Yes.
He's got the most personality, I think, of any Yoma to date. And like I said, like he goes down, so to speak, way too early in the second round.
Yeah.
And we could have got more from him.
Absolutely.
I hope all the villains telegraph their moves by yelling what they are going forward. Yeah, the guy's good.
He was very entertaining. I have to give him that much.
Yeah.
So now we're at the point where we give our rating, 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best. I give this episode 3 out of 5 roses.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So ironically, in the way that the monster design of throwing everything at the wall worked,
Yes.
For a 5,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably give this a 3 as well, because this is an episode in which, and they're all probably going to be more complicated as we go, in which the bad guys are scrambling to get their plan together to get a crystal out of a priest. The good guys remember that their best friend lost her boyfriend, so they're going to take her out for Sundays. But in the meantime, a graveyard priest becomes a chicken man who yells, "Lovely punch!" And Tuxedo Mask is trying to figure out who he is.
Yes.
And steals a crystal.
Yes.
And literally says at one point, like, they're like, "Are you a good guy or a bad guy?" And he's like, "I'm basically on my side. And we're going to find out, when I get that crystal.
Yeah.
If you guys come after me, I guess I'm the bad guy."
Right.
It's morally complicated. This guy wants to be a Peking duck. there's a lot going on, and
Yes.
to the episode's detriment, I think.
Okay, yeah, too busy.
I think it's really busy.
Yeah.
Not entertaining, but it's busy.
Sure.
And I should give it a 4, but I'm also going to give it a 3.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I don't want, at this point in the game, I don't want to reward. I want 4s to be, this is really great. If they'd done this, it would have been a 5. But I can't give a, boy, this is happening, that's happening. That can't be a 4.
Right.
So this has to be a 3.
Okay, fair enough. My English title is Mission Naru Happiness.
You know this works, right?
Yes.
Mission Naru Happiness. Okay. What about?
Mm-hmm.
Look out, Naru. No. No. Mission Naru Happiness. Mission Naru's Happiness. It's not caveman.
Oh, yeah,
You can use
I suppose.
possessive.
I try to not have as many connecting
doesn't
words
have to
and
be.
stuff. Yeah.
Umino
okay.
duck now. You don't have to. It can be almost a sentence. Mission Naru Happiness. Mine is my fake Deke or Viz title.
Yes.
For the Cartoon Network is Down for the Count.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good one. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 27. Ami-chan e no koi, Mirai Yochi no Shonen in Japanese. Crushing on Ami, the boy who can see the future, the English translation, and the English title, Mercury's Mental Match.
I was going to say, it sounds like Ami's got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just from, I wouldn't say I translated it, but I knew enough words in that.
Yes, give yourself some credit.
So is it just it's just gonna rotate between all the girls now? Looks like it is.
I mean, in some ways, I think that there are definitely episodes where it's like everybody gets a little something.
Mercury's Mental Match.
Yes.
Let's start. Let's blindfold me, or let's if I'm juggling knives or whatever, we're gonna blindfold me. So
Okay.
let's fire off a couple that I can't use next time.
Oh, okay.
Mercury's Mental Match. Let's see. Food for thought. Wait a minute. Brain drain.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, I can do it. High Q.
Ooh.
All right. Those are out.
Okay, that almost sounded like a Trek title there. 'cause
I don't
Q.
think they ever made it to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point though.
Well, that's our show for this week. In the Name of the Moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
I'm a champion. Ow!